Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be giving my first impressions on the new Foo Fighters album, but here we are. Now, Foo Fighters, I've kind of liked their recent material. A lot of people don't, but I actually do, and so I was interested to hear how this new album would sound. Now, this is the newest album from Foo Fighters that just came out the day before as you're watching this. And I think it's good. I kind of expected that, since with the tragic loss of Taylor Hawkins, that there would be some lyrics about him on this album. And boy, is there some lyrics about him on this album. This album is pretty much every single song is about him, which is fine because that makes a lot of sense that they would dedicate an entire album to him. That makes sense, and I'm glad they did that. I think they did him right. So, the first song, Rescued, the first single as well, I listened to it when it came out, and honestly, when I first heard it, I was kind of like, oh no, what's this gonna, because it was it felt very typical Foo Fighters and very safe in that matter. Which means it's still good. And listening back on it again, it's still good. And I still like it. One of the more catchy songs on this album. It's just very I don't know. It's very middle of the road. It's not like amazing, and it's not terrible as well. It's just kind of in the middle of the road. Under You is a bit more noisy and stuff, but again, just like Rescued, it plays super safe. Next song, Hearing Voices, is a bit more of a slower song, a bit more of a ballady song, and once again, the lyrics are all about Taylor Hawkins pretty much, and also the death of Dave Grohl's mother, which is very sad. It happened like 5 months after Taylor Hawkins' death, and so it's kind of dedicated to both of them, but more to Taylor Hawkins. And the lyrics are, they're very sad, and it's very sad to hear how he feels about it. And yeah, it's very heartfelt. This whole album is very heartfelt in its delivery. Now I get to a really good song. I've always thought that Foo Fighters had always either had one or at least a couple of good songs that I would love to return to, and I will say that this one doesn't disappoint, because the next song, But Here We Are, the title track, is actually quite good. It's kind of in 7/4, which is nice for me, and it's actually a pretty good song. It has a nice melody. Of course, the lyrics are always the same for every song, which is fine. Again, I'm not dissing him. I understand that they should write a lot about it, because that's how they feel, and that's the most recent thing that's happened to them. And yes, it's just I could get a tiny bit bored with all the lyrics, because they're all about the same subject. And that's not to say that other bands who do that aren't, like, bands who do that are boring as well. Just listen to, like, all metal bands. They have a lot of songs about, like, dying and death and killing and stuff. But I feel like this album is very, like, almost like a concept album. Not as in, like, it has a story, but they're all thematically linked as, like, an ode to Taylor Hawkins. The Glass is the next song, and it's good, it's okay. There's a couple songs on here that, again, are kind of ballady and very middle of the road. The Glass is one of the middle of the road songs. We also have Nothing at All, which is another one of my favorites on the album. It's I like the drumming in it, and I think that's a new drummer, whatever his name is. I completely forgot what his name is. I'm so sorry. But yeah, the song is pretty good too. It has another good melody. Again, profound lyrics as always, and Dave Grohl's singing is very passionate throughout all this, which makes a lot of sense. He's very passionate about all these lyrics, and I'm glad that there's some real passion, because I feel like Medicine at Midnight didn't really have much of that. I mean, it had some. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the kind of person to say that that singers have no passion whatsoever. Like, I'm not a person to say Emerson, Lake and Palmer's Love Beach doesn't have any passion in the vocals. But, which I might do a whole review on that album later, actually. But it's good. The next one, Show Me How, was another one that I had heard before. I think it was another single for the album, and I actually quite liked it. It was a bit more adventurous than the rest of the album. It's a bit more, like, atmospherical and kind of cool, and it also has, someone else a female on vocals. I forgot who it is too. Man, I'm really bad at this stuff. But it's good, and it's a nice chorus, and I actually really like the melody. It's one of the more hooky melodies that will get stuck in your head more than some of the other hooks on this album. Next song, Beyond Me, is another middle of the road song. It's ballady again, which, I mean, it's not that I don't like ballads. It's that I understand that there needs to be some ballads, especially when talking about a subject like this. I just don't like them as much. And I wasn't expecting this album to be, like, heavy, and I'm right, there's, like, no heavy songs on this album, pretty much, which is fine, again. We don't need heaviness, especially on an album like this, which is so, passionate and, meaningful, and comes from such a heartbreaking, perspective. Now, we get to my favorite song on the album. Anyone who's seen the track list and seen the length of the songs and you knew this song is going to be his favorite, it's The Teacher. The 10-minute song, 10 minutes and 5 seconds. Foo Fighters' longest song, The Teacher, is my favorite song on the album. And, man, it's really good. The lyrics are even more, like, me. I felt that. I felt those lyrics so hard, and it's interesting how the song's kind of split up into two parts. It kind of stops for a second and then comes back. And, but I like both parts, and I like how they use the chorus in different tempos. I also like, again, the singing is very, passionate, and I love, the repetition on the words "wake up." It just is so, like, oh my god, this can't be happening. Please wake up, like it's a dream. Or, well, it could be either it's a dream or he's telling, like, Taylor Hawkins to, like, please wake up, please recover from this. And sadly he won't. But, yeah, it's very sad. This whole album's very sad, but The Teacher is where it's at its high point. And the ending part where Dave Grohl's screaming goodbye, man, it's so passionate, and, like, he's pouring his heart out into the full repetition of the word goodbye. And honestly, I'm a bit sad that The Teacher isn't the last song on the album, because I feel like it could have been, but I still like where its placement is, and I'm glad that they even have the song on here, because it's a pretty adventurous song again. And it's definitely my favorite off the album. Also, that ending of The Teacher with it's kind of like weird glitchy out effect that kind of reminds me of the ending of Karma Police by Radiohead. Or kind of like it starts normal and it kind of glitches out and it goes until it all just stops. It's perfect, and I'm glad that they ended it like that. And again, I wish it was the last song on the album, but Rest, the actual last song on the album, is a good closer, and I'm glad that they ended it with this, because by this point in the album, I was just was content to just sit here and listen to the lyrics and just, take a moment of silence, even though there's music blasting. Take a moment of silence for Taylor Hawkins and realize what he's done for us, how good of a drummer he was, and how much he's inspired many. And Rest is where it just all comes in, and it's very, like, for the first half, it's very, It's very soft and mellow, and then about 2 minutes in, or a couple minutes in, it gets a bit more heavier, and actually kind of scared me when the guitars and the drums kicked in, because I was like, whoa, because it was so quiet before, and now all of a sudden, poof. It's the most noisy song on the album, which is kind of weird, because you have like this. It sounds like there's like this white noise in the background for like 2 minutes, and that's probably just distortion from the guitars. But it's honestly kind of brilliant that they have that there, because it acts like, white noise. Sometimes it's played like it's like a nothing sound, like there's nothing, and that would implicate that someone's dead, which obviously, sadly, someone is. And the chorus again, rest, you can rest now, is great. It's sung a lot and very heartfelt, and yeah. And then the last couple lines is just a perfect way to end the album. And it's this album is a roller coaster for sure. There's some highs, there are some lows, there are some other highs, there are some other lows. But in the end, this album is quite good. It's not amazing. I will say it's better than Medicine at Midnight and maybe Concrete and Gold as well. But it's still good, and I'm glad that they were able to make something so quick as well. I was kind of surprised that they made it this quick. It's been like a year and a couple months since he died, and they've already come out with a full album dedicated to him. Which I mean, again, makes sense. You want to some people, the only true way to express their feelings is through music, and writing songs, which I guess that's how these guys operate, which is good, and I'm glad that they can get all of this off of their chest in the form of music and produce some great songs along the way. Sorry, this was such a kind of down video. I didn't mean for it to be. When you're talking about a subject like this, it's bound to happen. Yeah, this album I will return to quite a bit. I think I'll probably return to a lot of the songs that I liked quite frequently. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Comment down below what you think of this album, or something about this album. What's your favorite song? And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!